Today we're going to talk about how many talks should you have if you're getting out there as a professional speaker. A lot of times people will ask me, should I have 2 talks, 3 talks, 4 talks, talks and workshops? I would say this, start with 1 talk. Start with 1 talk and get proficient at doing that 1 talk, because once you feel confident and you have that 1 go-to talk you can repeat over and over again, whether you customize pieces of it or not, you will feel more confident when you go out there to speak. Now, what I will say is going deep on your topic by having a talk and a workshop to go along with it will go a long way in establishing you as an expert in your field. So what you can do is you can create a talk, a keynote, and you can say, hey, listen, I also have a breakout session or a workshop that will go along with that. That allows you to charge a higher fee, and it allows you to further establish yourself as the expert in your field. So now that we know we want to create 1 talk, let's talk about how to create a workshop from your topic. So when it comes to creating a workshop for your speech or from your topic, you want to remember this acronym, PACK, P-A-C-K. Points, anchors, conversation, and keep. Let's dive into that. First, points. When you have a topic, mental health, setting goals, leadership, whatever it is, do this. Have somewhere where you can record every single point you want to make about that topic. So for example, I speak about mental health and resilience, and I have a list of everything I want people to know about that. I want them to reserve time for themselves. I want them to remember their values. I want them to review their goals. I want them to reach out if they need help. And I have a list of all the various things you need to do to build your mental health. Am I going to talk about all of those things in a 40 to 50 minute keynote? Of course not. But you know what? If I have 8 to 10 of those topics listed, maybe 3 can be in a keynote or 4 can be in a keynote, and then I can take the other 3 points and use those for workshops. That way, if I'm delivering a keynote and a workshop to the same group, I can present something new in my workshop. So I can cover off 4 points in my keynote or 3 points in my keynote, and I can say, hey, listen, I have even more deep dive information we can go into for this workshop, and then I can touch on other points that I have. So start by doing that. Make a list of all the points that you think relate to your topic. Now, A is for anchor. Your anchor is what helps the ship stay in place and what helps your point sink home with your audience. So for every point that you have, whether it's in your keynote or your workshop, let's talk about workshops now, you want to have some way to drive that point home. So whatever your point is, have a story or an anecdote or an activity, something that drives that home. For me, I'm a big storyteller. I love coaching people on how to tell stories. I also love delivering stories. So I will typically have my point, and my anchor will be a story that illustrates that point. That's A. C is for conversation. The best part of a workshop, what I love about it, is I don't have to do all the talking. In a keynote, I'm doing all the talking, but in a workshop, I get to have conversations with the audience, but allow them to have conversations with each other. So have times in your workshop where you say, hey, break into a group, talk to the person next to you, get into a group of 3 or 4, talk about that. Allow them to have conversations, and that way they get to present their ideas as well. And when you come back, after you've given them a few minutes to talk amongst themselves, you can have each table present their findings, their ideas. You can give questions for discussion. There's so many ways you can go. And the good thing about this is typically a keynote might be 30, 45 minutes, maximum an hour is what most keynotes go for. But a workshop can be 90 minutes, it can be 2 hours, it can be 3 hours. I've given 3-hour workshops before. So you can even do a full day, but I don't do full days. I like doing half days or 3 hours. Bottom line is this, you want to allow for that conversation, and having those moments within your workshop allows you to extend the time. So you can give 10 minutes for a group to discuss something, and then you come back and you go table to table and they present their ideas or they tell you what they've spoken about. And it uses up time, but it also allows your audience to be heard. And trust me, everyone in your audience, even if they don't put up their hands, they like to hear from other people in their audience, not just you. And finally, the K is for keep. Not every speaker agrees with this, but I like to give the audience something they can keep. So for some audiences, I make a little postcard with the various points that we talk about, and they get to take that home. I create worksheets for a lot of my workshops, one-page worksheets or a little bit longer, and I allow them to fill out something very simple within the worksheet. And that's something they can keep, they can take home. It's a reminder of what we discussed, and it's also something you can do as part of assigning an activity to them. Say, hey, take a minute and write down some of your goals. Take a minute and write down a way that you will reserve more time for yourself in your life. I like to get them to write things down because it gets them to reflect on their own life as well. And it's something they can keep. So remember, focus on one talk, one workshop. Use the PACK acronym to help your audience and help you as you're creating that workshop to make sure that you feel confident in the content that you're delivering. Do those things and you'll have a keynote, a workshop that you can take out, market, and get paid for.